Students, today we are going to study the term to lesson 1. You know that any kind of work you do, you want some amount of energy for it. You know that any kind of work you do, you want some amount of energy for it. Energy for any work you do, basically you are getting from food that we eat. Energy for any work you do, basically you are getting from food that we eat. So now we are going to see the lesson food. So what lesson we are going to learn now? Food. What is food? What is food? Food is any nutritious substance that people eat or drink to maintain life and growth. So food means any nutritious substance that people eat or drink to maintain life and growth. What does the food contain? Anybody know? Last year you have learned. What does the food contain? The food contains nutrients like carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins and minerals. So now we are going to see the lesson food. Introduction. Our body needs nutrients like proteins, carbohydrates, fats for its proper function. So what are the nutrients we want? Proteins, carbohydrates and fats. Proteins contain milk, cake, that and all proteins it's contained. The carbohydrate means where it is contained? It is contained in rice, wheat. So fat means the oiled food and all it contain that fat. So our body needs nutrients like proteins, carbohydrates and fats for its proper functioning. We get these nutrients. What are the nutrients? These means what are these nutrients? Proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins and minerals from the food we eat. So we are getting these nutrients whatever food we are eating. That food only we are getting that proteins, carbohydrates and fats. Okay. If we do not take all these nutrients in right proportion, what much we want, that much we are not eating, means what will happen? It results in some diseases. So we are not eating the proper amount, means you will affect diseases. Sometimes we do not preserve the food properly and it gets spoiled. So we are not whatever food we are eating, we are not keeping properly, means what will happen? It will spoiled. Sometimes through the spoiled food also we get diseases. So we are eating the spoiled food also we are getting diseases. So we need to preserve the food we eat. So whatever food we are eating, what we want to do? We want to preserve the food, whatever we are eating. Okay. In this lesson we will study about the spoilage of foods and way to preserve them. So what you are going to learn? We are going to learn about the spoilage of food and ways to preserve them, deficiency diseases and balanced diet, and also about the kitchen safety. So after this lesson completed, what you are going to study? Spoilage of foods and way to preserve them, deficiency diseases, balanced diet and also kitchen safety. So first you are going to learn spoilage of food. Already know, I think so. Spoilage means you are not good for eating. Okay, spoilage means not good to eat. Okay, which food is easily spoiled. Okay, so the food items like fruits, vegetables, milk and meat will be fresh for very short time. For example, your milk you are keeping outside 4 or 5 hours. What will happen? It will spoiled. Okay, so the fruits are the same, like 1 or 2 days after, what will happen? It is spoiled. So which food items like fruits, vegetables, milk and meat will be fresh for very short time? Which food it contains? It will be very short time it is fresh, means that food only called as a perishable foods. So fruits, vegetables, milk and meat will be fresh for very short time. These are called as the perishable foods. So what are perishable foods? The perishable foods are fresh in very short time. For example, fruits, vegetables and milk. So they get spoiled easily. So these perishable foods and they get spoiled easily. Some food items like rice have long time but they also decompose. So some food items we can use in a long time. Okay, but they also decompose. The change in normal state of the food is called as the spoilage of food. So the change in the normal state of the food is called as the spoilage of food. So what is the spoilage of food? the change in the normal state of the food. The change in the normal state of the food is called as the spoilage of food. The spoiled food becomes unsuitable to eat. So the spoiled food we do not eat. So it is unsuitable to eat. We can notice such changes from the taste. So how can we identify the spoiled food? The taste will vary, the smell will vary. So that food only you can change and change the taste and smell means that is a spoiled food. So what are the changes you are noticing? The taste will vary, the smell will vary of the spoiled food. Eating spoiled food results in the diseases. So we are eating the spoiled means what will happen? It will result the diseases. So next topic is the causes. First we are studying spoiled food. Spoiled food means we are not suitable for eating. So causes. Causes means the reason for the spoilage of food. What reason the food is spoiling? Okay. Once the food items are harvested, they begin to decompose. Once the food is harvested means what will happen? To begin to decompose. Food can be spoiled. The factors like air and oxygen, moisture, enzymes, microorganisms, light and temperature. So what are the reasons the food is spoiling? Air and oxygen, moisture, enzymes, microorganisms, light and temperature. So these are the reasons the food will spoiling. Air and oxygen, moisture, enzymes, microorganisms, light and temperature. First we are going to study air and oxygen. In our surroundings, where what is present? Air is present. Yeah, in the air, the oxygen also present. So when oxygen reacts with the food content, it produces changes the color and the flavor of the food. So oxygen reacts with the food items. What will happen? It changes the color and the flavor of the food. The flavor, the taste of the food also it will change. So air and oxygen is react with the food means what will happen? The color and flavor of the food will change. Next one, moisture. Moisture keeps the food fresh. Okay, there's some fruits and vegetables also moisture is present. So moisture keep the food fresh. When the moisture is is gone means it's go out means what will happen? Vegetables and fruits string. In the picture you are seeing means see the orange and the brinjal you are seeing it is string. It is means that decreasing in size. Okay, string. So moisture keep the food fresh. When the moisture is gone, vegetables and fruits string. So due to the evaporation, moisture loss occurs in food like meat, fish and cheese. Okay, so these of the evaporation means the water is gone out. Okay, gone out means what will happen? It will food will, like meat and fish will that evaporation it also the change the spoiling. Okay, so that it is spoiling to moisture also, moisture reduce also the food will spoiling. Next one, enzymes. Enzymes break down the tissues and components of the food in different ways like oxidation, browning and ripening. Browning means I think you know the example. In your apple you are cutting and keeping on that outside means what will happen after half an hour or 1 hour? What will happen? It will change the color, browning. So enzymes present in apple so that only it is changing the color. Okay, browning. Enzymes break down the tissues and components of the food in different ways like oxidation, browning and ripening. What is the meaning ripening? Ripening the fruit, the fruit it will change into that banana is all change into the ripening. So the enzymes break down the tissues and components of the food in different ways like oxidation, browning and ripening. So the food items decay. So the food items will decayed. Next one, microorganisms. Microorganisms means it is a small, very small organisms, very small living things. We can see through the microscope. We cannot see through our naked eye, through our eyes. So microorganisms only are seeing through the microscope. Okay, we are not seeing through our naked eye. Okay, microorganisms such as fungi, yeast and bacteria can grow well in low temperature. For that example, we can say means in bread, 4 or 5 days after that, what will happen? It will the fungi will form in the bread. I think you are seeing already that bread will change the color in black in color. So microorganisms such as fungi, yeast and bacteria can grow well in low temperatures. They multiply in food and spoil them. It will, the low temperature, what will happen mean? It will multiply, it will increase that amount, okay? Multiply in food and spoil them. Microorganism, either very small organism, okay? Light produces color changes and also vitamin loss. Light produces color changes and also vitamin loss. Temperature. Sometimes rise in temperature causes food spoilage. In hot summer days and all, the fruit and all easily they will decay. What is the reason? In the rise, the temperature will rising. So sometimes rise in temperature causes food spoil. So what are the causes? What are the reasons for the spoilage of food? First one, air and oxygen, moisture, enzymes, microorganisms, light and temperature. Next one, effect. Effect means result. What results we are getting? You are eating the spoilage food means what effect, what result you are getting. Spoilage food are not suitable to eat. Okay, spoilage food are not suitable to eat. Whenever the food is spoilage, don't eat. Okay, they may not to be fresh and tasty. Sometimes it will be harmful to consume them. So they may not be fresh and tasty. Sometimes it will be harmful to consume. You are eating means some health issues it will affect. Okay, so microorganisms present in spoiled foods may cause foodborne diseases like stomachache, fever, dysentery, vomiting and indigestion. So when you are eating the spoilage food, what and all you are getting the diseases like stomachache, stomach pain, okay, or stomachache, fever, dysentery, vomiting and indigestion. So what are the spoiled food, what are you eating, what will your result you are getting? You are getting some diseases. The spoilage food is not suitable for eat, but you are eating. Sometimes we know unknowingly you are eating, means what will you cause? You are affecting the stomachache, fever, dysentery, vomiting and digestion. So in this chapter what you have studied, ma? You have studied about the spoilage of food. What is spoilage food mean? The food, the change in food, the normal state of the food, the change in the normal state of the food is called as the spoilage of food. Eating the spoilage food is not suitable for to eat. Causes. What are the reasons it is causing? What are the reasons the food will spoiling? Air and oxygen, moisture, enzymes, microorganisms, light and temperature. So in these reasons only the spoilage, the food will change into spoilage food. Next one, effect. What you are eating? Yes, suppose you are eating the spoilage food meal, what will affect? You will affect the stomach pain, fever, dysentery, vomiting and indigestion.